really good to be here. Sorry not to read with the deer. This poem is called Portrait of the Moon as a Glass of Spilled Milk. The moon is a face waiting to be kissed. The moon is a CD of Queen's greatest hits. The moon is a fantail pigeon falling in front of a magician's face. The moon is too dangerous to operate. The moon is a reminder to tell you about the night I saw a boat with some friends, and because we feel guilty, we laugh, and because we laugh, we feel guilty. The moon is 45 holidays in 62 years. The moon is the potato along the tarmac in a semicircle, joining the other potatoes. The moon is a boy called Steve and a girl called Stephen Fowler. The moon is a face waiting to be kissed. The moon is my 3 apologies for singing happy birthday to other drivers. The moon is 24 apologies for not remembering your birthday, though at least on 5 occasions I was pretending to forget. So when handing you a poorly sellotaped parcel, I could hear you say, what on earth, you jerk, what on earth. The moon is a little fist, our 2 hands make together. The moon is a gobstopper, a lithosphere, a crust of dusting, of regolith, just a smidgen. The moon is, as you can see, to give you an idea, the moon is 748 visits to the supermarket, and at least on 80 of them I forgot where we parked and pushed and shuddered the bags filled with potatoes and loo roll and Smarties along each row with the key above my head, up and down, feeling like a moron but with purpose. The moon is your first job with the word head in the title. The moon is my first job with the word dada in the title. The moon is a magician with the head of a pigeon, wearing a monocle of the moon, predictably. The moon is at work right now, but it will call you back the minute the moon can. The moon is explaining to neighbours how their son's plastic tricycle ended up in your pond and a target for empty cans of lager, and why it now smells strongly like Carlsberg, and why the seat is no longer attached to it. The moon is nothing special, only that it has passed with flying colours. The moon is the worst haircut I've had in all my 72 years on God's green earth. The moon is not interested in calming down. The moon is not interested in when it happened, only why. The moon is, as you can see, to give you an idea. The moon is too dangerous to operate. The moon is reassuring because we've seen it so much. The moon is a little fist that our 2 hands make together. The moon is a glimpse of lace worn for a day. The moon is between today and tomorrow. The moon is a face waiting to be kissed. This poem is an elegy that I wrote with Endre Ruset, who's here tonight. When you see me, hear me, clutch like a key in the latch, or clatter to the floor like a phone intact, or the knock of the sideboard in a spinner wash. It's not what kills you, it's what sets you off. The clack together of broda, scattered gravel, snow thuds on the glass, a split of a foil lid, the grip and rip through of an envelope, through and through, news from a bird's eye point of view, burns down the past right in front of you. Here is there, the roadworks, fireworks, dog barks and thunder. But when you can't move, I beg of you, remember to remember me true. And if you can, then focus on my voice in the room. My voice, more startling than any alarm, will make it through to say how proud we are, I am of you. And the nightingale in England is going extinct. And so I wrote this, the sound of the words will probably just slightly wash over your ears. I'm very sympathetic to that. It happens to me while I'm reading it. So this is it. Nightingale. In practice, this nightingale's words swerve headed over home video, air-stuffled foreground, wall sound, the wind that wears at altitude, the oral cavities of avian hearing, and the piece from the birch where wash is a verb of a weatherfront herd while circling the circuit of hand-me-down hunting grounds, microscoping the medway, soaked plantain for what itches in the ultraviolet, signals aeronautic, arcs synaptic across the hindbrain, midbrain, forebrain, hover-held, a fulgurite voice print following fit phrase, memorized in the buffer bee mind, reckoning the rote in tones, the thatched calyx of nest, and the skull-vaulted song in air sac stacks the socketing of gases that surge, electric, sublate, regulated by the lungs, the heart, the stomach, heart and lungs. They carry a wave of pulse. It's gyroscopic through curves of the skin, thick crown, coast magnetic, less dead cert, but surfs, a feeling for Norfolk, Shaker's Wood, next crests, hemispheres, never blackening out, dips to pitch, downs the tent of its wings, falls with the grain of the wind, a skiff skirting the transparent cerebella of high canopies, weighing a sail search with why, whichever perch works, to see what kill comes, if it comes to kill first, and shudders bursts of nerved stuttering, the head cicading for the sake of the eye, the sinuses hum, in syrinx territory calls, chiaroscuro resonant, stridulating, lift ululations, Senegambian, the wind changes, you hear it, the nightingale, a female singing in nervous laughter, a musical birthday card addressed to the dead, a holiday maker's car alarm, loud and long and penetrating and worrying, between wanting attention and warning, breaking off into an uneasy peace. Thanks very much.